Hey, this is Module 3, Lesson 3.01 for 6th grade. We're starting Module 3. Module 3 is narrative writing. It's a fun module, and it is the last module of the semester of Segment 1. So we will wrap this up, and it will bring us into December, and then the segment will end. So that's exciting. Due this week, 3.00 Module 3 checklist. Print or save it to your drive. Okay, basically that's an overview of what is going to happen for Module 3. So you want to save that checklist to your drive or print it out. It will help you go through the lesson and go through the module. 3.01, the narrator of a story. That's a quiz. We will cover this in the live lesson. Once you complete the Google quiz, it will count for 3.01. Okay, so today, if you are here and participating, this lesson will count for 3.01, and you'll do a Google quiz at the end, and I'll input that as your grade for 3.01, so you won't need to do 3.01 on your own. And then you also have this week 3.02, Explain Yourself, which is a quiz. You'll need to go through 3.02 on your own, read the lesson, take your notes, and then take the quiz for 3.02. I'm going to turn on chat for a minute to see if anybody has questions on that. All right, what questions? Do we have any questions on 3.01? We're going to do it today together and it will count. Okay, so you're going to take your notes on 3.01. Okay, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat box. Natalie, what you'll do is a Google form, and then I'll go in and input your grades. Then Sophia, you'll have to do the quiz through 3.01. Okay, you need to be here to participate. Okay, Lucas, it's up to you. You don't have to be here if you've already done it, or you can listen and review. You can still do the quiz after the live lesson if you want, or you can have the quiz be the live lesson and we'll take the place of the quiz. Okay. All right. So have your notes out because I want you to take notes as we go. Melissa, I see that you're raising your hand, so put a question in if you have one, kiddo. All right. So let's take a look at what we need to do for all lessons. We need to read through the lessons and take your notes. You want to take those objectives and turn those into questions. Go to Gradebook and take the quiz, complete the assignment, and repeat if necessary. Remember, since this week is quizzes for you guys, if you don't do as well as you want to, then you can go back and reread the lessons, take some more notes, and redo the quiz. So let's get started in 3.01. And this is where I want you to have your lessons pulled up so you can jot down some notes as you go. So the objectives for 3.01, after completing this lesson, you will be able to define and identify narrative and narrative writing, understand the parts of a narrative, identify and understand the purpose of a narrator, and identify and understand the purpose of the narrator's point of view. So this module is about narrative writing. You are going to write your own narrative. You'll be given some story starters for that. So Module 3 is all about narrative writing. This is kind of an introduction to it. Okay. So this is where I want you to get your notes out. So what is a narrative? Okay. So everyone should be taking their notes. Luke, make sure that we stay focused on narrative writing. Okay, I'm going to turn off the chat so you guys all pay attention. So in your notes, you should have what is a narrative. You should have the definition of narrative. So narratives are fictions or nonfiction stories that take place in a setting and consist of events that move through time. Narratives also have characters, conflicts, and a climax in which the conflict is resolved. So in your notes, and you can put it in your own words because remember you can use the notes on the DBA, you want to have the definition of a narrative. You can see that some words are in bold. The words are in bold I want you to pay special attention to. So you need a setting for a narrative. You need events that move through time, characters, conflicts, a climax in which the conflict is resolved. So those are the key things that you need for narrative. I'm going to leave this up here for a minute so you guys can have time to take your notes. I'll also have the recording available on the pace chart by tomorrow. That way, if you want to go back and review, you may. But since this is going to count for 3.01 for you, you definitely need to take your notes. Okay, when you're ready to move on, give me a thumbs up so I know that I can go on to the next slide and that you've taken your notes. I'll give it another minute. I know some other people are still writing. You can also take your highlighter out. You can highlight those words in bold. This should be a review for most of you. Narrative writing is more that creative writing that we do. So underline those keywords and make sure you know what a narrative is. Now I'm going to move on, but if you need to, you can watch the recording tomorrow or you can go to the lesson. Okay, so narratives. Narratives are stories. You see them everywhere. Movies, song lyrics, TV shows, and plays tell stories. So do biographies, myths, comic books, and fairy tales. And narratives you should be very familiar with. We see them throughout our study of English and in your other courses too. They're stories. Okay. What is a narrative? So this kind of reiterates the narrative. We took some notes, but just to make sure that you understand a little bit more about narrative writing, when you write about events in sequence, so events in the order that they happen, okay? Now I know some stories don't always go in sequence. For this lesson and for what you are going to write, it is going to go in sequence. So you're writing about events in sequence. Narrative writing can be about something real or something imaginary. So when you're writing narrative, it could be a personal biography and you could tell a personal memoir of something that you've experienced in your life, or it could be something imaginary that you make up. Okay? It can be about you or someone else. So you could write a narrative about your own life, or you could write a narrative about someone else. Okay? What questions do you have on narrative writing, guys? Any questions on narratives? Awesome. Thumbs up if you're like, oh, I love narrative writing. This is cool. Or smiley face if you're excited that Module 3 is about narrative creative writing. Yay. It's one of my favorite modules. I think you guys will like it. Okay, so we're going to move on. What I want you to make sure you have in your notes is what is a narrative. Okay. Natalie, I'm talking right now, kiddo. So one of the things that we are looking at is the plot. Okay. So let's look at plot. Okay. If you need to come back to look at the notes, you can wait at the end and I'll put the slides back on, or you can watch the recording tomorrow. Most people are done with your notes. So I want to move on, and if you need to, you can come back. Okay, I'm going to turn off the chat so we're all focused. So plot. We've talked about this. We talked about this in Module 1 when we read Thank You, Ma'am. So all narrative writing whether fictional or factual, contains a setting, characters, a conflict, a climax, and a resolution. And we know that it's kind of like the mountain that we're going up. We start with your exposition. We go up the mountain to our rising action. The tip of the mountain, that high point of action, is the climax. And then we have our falling action and our resolution. So every narrative has a plot. You are going to write your own narrative, and it is going to follow the plot structure. So it will have an exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Okay? And these are all things that I will grade you on with the rubric, is to see that you followed the plot in writing your narrative. Okay? So really important that you not only understand what a plot is, but when you are writing your narrative, and we'll get into your narrative next week, that you follow this plot diagram. Okay? Smiley faces if you're like, that's cool. Frowny face if you're like, oh no, Mrs. Bailey, you're making this really hard. Middle face if you're like, okay, I can handle it. Guess what? You guys can all handle it. This will be fun. It's a fun module. You guys will all do a great job with it. Okay? Something a little different, a nice way to end up the year. And Killian or anybody, if you need help, hang out at the end and I'll help you. Purpose. So one of the things that we talk about in narrative writing is the purpose. And I know that we've talked about this in Module 1 too. So let's look at the purpose. Purpose is to teach, to inspire, to inform, entertain, or persuade. So those are your different purposes for writing. Okay, I'm going to turn off the chat because I need you guys to be focused, and you should have this in your notes. So narrative writing has a purpose. And I want you to write down the 5 different purposes of narrative writing. So the purpose of narrative writing, a story may inspire, teach, entertain, inform, or persuade. When we do writing, we talk about PIEs, persuade, inform, entertain. For a narrative, we're also adding the inspire and teach. Okay. So persuade, inform, entertain, inspire, teach. Those are the 5 different purposes narrative writing has. So everyone should be writing that down in your notes. The purpose of narrative writing. Because you may see this again, like on the quiz that you take in the Google form on this. I'm going to give everyone another minute to write down their notes. Give me a thumbs up once you are done with your notes and about purpose and you understand that purpose is to inspire, teach, entertain, inform, or persuade. Excellent. Again, if you need to, you can stay at the end and I will keep the slide up, or you can watch the recording tomorrow. So now is where we get to do a little playing with this. Okay, Natalie, you'll have to come back to it, sweetie. Or you can watch the recording on it. Okay? So let's take a look at this example. And this I want you to test and apply your knowledge. So, a snake slithered into school one wintry December day and coiled itself in the teacher's chair. The teacher took one look and screamed, "Hey, that's my chair. Luke, please wait." "Hey, that's my chair. Move over." The snake retorted, "No need to yell. I am leaving." It slithered right back out the floor vent. What is the purpose? To inform or entertain? So go ahead and put what you think it is. You're right. It is to entertain. Were you guys okay to see the poll? I haven't tried the poll before. Yay. All right. The poll, yeah, you've seen the poll, but I haven't. So it worked okay? Awesome. We'll use the poll from now on. Fabulous. Thank you guys. Yeah, I learned something new today too. Okay, yes, it's to entertain. It's kind of a silly story. Hey, teachers are always learning, guys. It's part of the awesome thing about having a teaching career. Okay, I'm going to do a poll. So don't do anything yet because I learned a new trick. Hold on. Let me figure out how I can do it again. So read this to yourself about the fox, and I'll try to figure out the poll thing. Okay, there. The other poll is still up? Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see. Is it still there? Go away, poll. I ended it. Okay, so let's try this again. Fox spied a bunch of juicy grapes high above his head. He tried and tried to reach the grapes, but finally gave up in failure. As he walked away, he said, I'm sure they're sour anyway. Moral, it's easy to despise what you can't have. What is the purpose? There, I put the poll up. So is it to persuade or teach? Now, there's 5 of you who still haven't responded. Oh, I like this. So I know a couple people are in here for the 7th grade one, but there's still a couple of you who have not responded. You're right. It is to teach. It is to teach. So, good job. Oh, yay, I have another one. Hold on. Let me figure out the poll thing again. Okay, so read that to yourself. And I'll put up a new poll. There we go. One spring day, the duck saw the shiny wrapper in the water. Thinking it was something to eat, the duck snatched it up on its beak and started choking. Luckily, the park ranger was close by and saved the duck by removing the wrapper from its throat. The duck fluffed its feathers, waddled back into the lake, and swam away. What is the purpose? Okay, guys, so what is the purpose? You should be able to see the poll up there. Is it to persuade or entertain? I still have 6 people that haven't responded. Oh, interesting. Both's not an option, so one or more. Okay, so it is to persuade because they're trying to persuade you not to litter. Okay? Entertain, it's a cute story, but they're trying to persuade you not to litter. So the answer for this one is persuade. It is tricky, and that's why you need to go back to the text-based evidence. Awesome. Good job, guys. That was fun. Okay, so get those notes back out. I'm going to turn off your chat because I need you guys to take notes on this now. So get out those notes, and let's look at point of view. The point of view is a place from which the narrator watches the action. Okay? I want you to make sure you have in your notes point of view, and you can put POV. And I want you to have in your notes the difference between first person and third person point of view. So first person, in this case, the narrator is part of the story and uses first person pronouns such as I, me, we, or us. The narrator gives a personal account of what he or she is thinking and feeling. When the narrator is in the first person, you know what the narrator is feeling, but you do not know what all the other characters are feeling. Okay? So first person uses I, me, we, or us, and we only know what that first person is feeling, but not the other characters. Okay? So make sure that you have written down first person. Josiah, I'm going to wait till I get done with this to answer questions. Okay? So make sure that you're writing down first person and the definition of first person. And we reviewed this in our writing class for Module 2. So this should be a review. And then you have third person. The third person is this narrator tells the story from the third person point of view and uses pronouns such as he, she, or they. This narrator can explain to the reader what all the characters are thinking and feeling. Okay, so first person point of view, I, me, we, or us, they only know what they're feeling. Third person is omniscient, sees and hears all. So that third person tells the story in he, she, or they, and can tell you what all the characters are thinking and feeling. So I want you to have this in your notes. And you don't have to copy word for word. This is in the lesson. I want you to pull the main idea from this so you can write it in your notes. You should definitely have, though, in your notes, first person point of view and third person point of view and what they mean. You don't need to copy all of this, though. You can put it in your own words. All right, when you're done, you can give me a thumbs up. And remember, while we're waiting for everyone to finish, you can highlight or underline. Natalie, you should have this all in your notes. If it's not in your notes, then you can watch the recording tomorrow. Give me a thumbs up if you're done and ready to move on. Christine, this is 6th grade, 7th grade's at noon. So if you're just here early, I need you to just be listening and wait until your 7th grade goes. Okay, looks like we're all pretty much done. So for the quiz, a big part of 3.01 is that you know your point of view. So you want to know the difference between first person and third person point of view. All right, so make sure you know that one. So this is just a review. Some of us work better with visual images. You've already put this in your notes, but this is just a good way to review it. So here are the differences between the narrator point of view. First person, narrated by someone in the story. Pronouns, I, me, we, or us. You know the feelings of one character. Third person, omniscient, narrated by someone outside the story. Pronouns, he, she, they, them. And you know the feelings of all the characters. Okay? So this just took the notes that we took on the last slide and put it into a different, more like graphic organizer. Okay. Smiley face if we are good with first person versus third person. Or thumbs up is fine too, Emelise. Fabulous. Good job, guys. Hopefully this is a review. If you're looking at this and you're like, ooh, I kind of don't get this, remember, you can still go back to the lesson and reread it. If you get this, this is serving as the lesson for you. Okay? Awesome. So now, let's talk about 3.01. The narrator of the story quiz. Fill out the Google form quiz to get your credit. So I'm going to put that up in just a minute. And then 3.02, explain yourself quiz. So if you're attending this right now and you've taken your notes and you're going to do the Google quiz, the only thing that you'll need to do for language arts this week is 3.02. Okay? Live lesson next Monday at 11. And of course, as always, if you need help, please call or text. Okay? Homeroom meetings are also this week. So please get with your homeroom teacher to find out when your homeroom meetings are. They are on Thursday. All right, I'm going to put the Google form in right